I'm not too sure why, but every time I seem to start a new episode, it just starts raining. I suppose it's a good way to set the mood, but, well, it does get a bit sad at times, doesn't it? In any case, welcome back to another episode of Cottage World. Right now we're in the kitchen, and that's because today I was thinking about making a cooking episode. With all the mods included in Cottage World's mod pack, there's been quite a few new items and foodstuffs that have been added, and I was thinking about checking them out. For example, you can make dough, you can make tomatoes, even juice. To be honest, I was debating whether or not we should go to the nether this episode, considering how we've built another portal 2 episodes ago and we still haven't entered it. But I'd still like to savor the overworld just a little bit more before we delve right into the nether. And one good way to do that would be to go cook. I think cooking is a staple feature of cozy cottagecore games like Stardew Valley, and it'd be interesting to see what Minecraft has to offer, even if it's modded. So let's get into it. But before we cook, we have to get crops. And, well, we don't have that much of that. Now, a simple solution to that would be to go build a crop farm, which, while feasible, does carry one issue. My builds tend to be relatively natural. I say relatively because, well, there's no way you're going to have a big deer skull without some decomposing and flies around it. But going back to crops. Crops don't usually appear in large fields unless they have been planted by humans, and that's not really an effect that I want to go for. I'm not too sure how to justify a big field of crops without making it completely anthropomorphic, like for example adding a barn or a farm. But at the same time, that's just really not what I want to do. So I've been thinking, and what I want to do is to allocate different pieces of land to different crops. So for example, maybe strawberries could go here, and tomatoes could go here. Well, probably not here, because I need to figure out and research where crops can grow. And maybe along the way, we'll just add a couple of trees and shrubbery. But before that, I've got to get a list of crops. So if I clear out my inventory, gather all the seeds that I can, and get researching. Alright, we're back from Google, and I found out some really interesting things about crops that I'd like to share with you guys. Now, we're not going to go through all the crops because I don't think that you'd like to hear me ramble about crops for the next 3 minutes. But there were some cool ones that I didn't know until I researched about it. So for example, apparently beetroots came from seaweeds, which grows near the beach. You wouldn't really see common beetroots grow around the ocean, but seaweeds do. And I think that's one thing that we can incorporate into our build later. That being said, I did manage to find the ideal environment for each vegetable that I had. So, for example, I couldn't find it for cotton, potatoes, asparagus, melon, pumpkins. Yeah, that's a lot. So if you do know where they're found, let me know. I'll try and rectify it because by the time this video is out, I already have built all of the crops in their respective areas. And wherever I built them may be a bit wrong. So do feel free to let me know if I've built something wrongly and if I want to change the location of where I put these crops. So I think that I've got the locations ready, and let's go into a time lapse.
This morning I emerged onto a dirt that had been raining. And while it had been raining, you and I, we had been lying. And while we had been lying in the warmth, we had been falling into slumber with the thunder overhead. In the cave we laid down to the rain sounds on your window, intermingled with the blood rush of our love flushing us in you. Sleep joined us in the lamplight as a fire in a campsite, but we said no one to watch with our guard down.
Alright, we're done. I think I lost some of the footage for some of the other crops, but I'll be going around to show you the different farms that I've set up, so it'll be alright. Right now we're starting with the farm that's closest to our base, and that will be our cabbage farm. So cabbage grows around chalk cliffs, which is exactly where we're situated. It's pretty standard, and there's nothing special about it except that cabbage is a moderate crop, but I still find it cute nonetheless. And then in the distance there, we've got some apple trees. But it's not actually an apple farm, it's a farm for hops, which is a crop that, if I'm not wrong, is used in beer making. These tend to grow around trees and act as creepers, not the Minecraft ones. And I found online that they do grow around apple trees, so I thought it'd be fun to create some. This was the first time that I've made apple trees, so I actually had a previous time lapse of me making different apple trees, but I didn't like how they looked, so I replaced them completely, and here's the end result. To be honest, this is probably my favourite crop farm of all of them. Now if you go over to the north, there'll actually be a couple more crop farms that will pop up soon. So this is our carrot farm, and carrots, like some other crops, tend to grow around disturbed roadsides. If you look on the map, there will be quite a few patches of disturbed soil that we made specifically for crops. So this is the carrot farm, this is the lettuce farm, this is the onion farm, and this is the asparagus farm, if I'm not wrong. And over there is something that took me 6 hours to make. This is our rice and wheat farm, and originally this was a sandy beach, so I had to cover it all up with dirt, and I had to dig out all the dirt for this without any beacons or enchantments on my tools, so that's why this was the most time consuming one. Now I wasn't sure where to grow the wheat at first, but I figured it'd be fun to grow it next to the rice, since they are technically both yellow crops. And if you zoom in, you'll notice that not all of that's wheat. For example, that is not wheat. I have no idea how to pronounce it, but that's not wheat. And that is barley. This was mostly just to mix up the texture a bit, and make it look a bit more realistic in a sense. And over here is our strawberry farm. They grow around open areas, and I mean, this isn't really an open area. Even then though, this is probably one of the cuter farms that I've got, and I really like it. I think I have a trend of liking farms with the colour red. And if you go over to the beach, you will see the sea beets that I mentioned earlier, as well as some flax. We can't actually eat flax in this mod, or in real life, but I did want to grow a patch of flax just in case we needed some rope later on, because you can craft rope using flax in this mod. And if we make a slight detour, there's some sweet potatoes growing in the sandy grass over here. Apparently they like sandy soil. I don't know, I'm not an expert in this, but I trust Google. Enough. And right now, we're at the furthest farm from our base, the cucumber farm. They like to grow around swamps, so I decided to place them around here. Now because it's so far away, I made sure to stock up on more cucumbers just in case we needed them later. So hopefully it will suffice. But with all that being said and done, we still haven't finished our resource gathering before we start cooking. We've got to get some animal produce. There are 4 things we need: milk, eggs, honey, and fish. Now, although some recipes require mob loot like raw chicken, I'm not going to kill any mobs. I've already killed a few, but when I say a few, I mean a few. I accidentally killed a chicken when trying to kill the baby zombie on top of it, and I have no idea how I killed this bat, but I still feel bad about it. So yeah, no killing. Except for fish, because, well, if you fish out a fish, it's debatable whether it was alive in the first place or not. I don't think you'll want to see another time lapse again, so we'll be right back. Alright, we're back. Right in this chest, this is all that we've got. So we've got a bunch of fish, as well as, well, far too much milk. The one that we're lacking on is honey, and I'm not too sure how to get more of that, because I'm going to have to wait for the bees, and quite frankly, I don't have the patience for that. In any case though, hopefully this will suffice. I know there's a lot of other things that I need, especially like goat milk and duck eggs, but for now, I'm not planning to do all of the recipes today. There'll probably be another cooking episode in the future, and honestly, that'd be quite fun. Right now though, we've got to craft up a bit of cooking equipment, so let's get to it. So, as it turns out, most of the materials that I need to craft cooking appliances with are locked behind the nether. Even then, we still managed to get some things. So right here, we've got a crafting bowl, and over here, we've got a knife. I should not be trusted with this. I'm just gonna go set up the cooking camera real quick, and I'll see you in a bit. Is this recording? Oh, it is. Hi. So, this is my first cooking episode, and hope you guys will enjoy it. Okay, let me look for the recipe for sushi. Why does I have 3 recipes for beetroot soup? Alright, I just cooked the rice, but we made too much. I need cucumbers. Let me go get some. I don't think I'm qualified to cut this. And we're done. The midori roll turned out okay, but I'm not sure if the fugu is poisonous or not. Even then. Anyways, that's all we have time for today, so I'll see you all in the next one. Bye! Alright, we're back. That was just about 1 minute of animation, but it took me about 4 days to do it. At first, I wasn't sure if I wanted to put animation inside my video, but I figured it would be better than showing you this. And yeah, I know it might be a bit jarring to see animation in a Minecraft video, but if you do like it, let me know. There'll be more cooking episodes to come, so if possible, then I can plan out the animations prior to the cooking episodes, and then I can get the videos out sooner. With that though, let me show you what we made. So we didn't just make sushi, we also made quite a bit of bread and toast. Right here we've got a bunch of different soups and toast. And my favourite is the apple jam. I know that's not a toast or a soup, but bear with me. I mean, you can't eat it, but it's quite a nice crafting ingredient, both in Minecraft and in real life. And then over here we've got the sushi. So this is the midori roll, and this is a kelp roll. There were quite a few rolls that I couldn't make because I didn't have meat, but we did manage to cook some of the fish that we had. And right here we've got dough. There were so many different types of dough that we could make, and I wasn't sure which to use for different recipes, so it got a bit confusing at times, but it turned out okay. And that's all that we have for today. If you've watched this part of the video, thank you for sticking around. I really appreciate your support. And I do hope that you've enjoyed. I know there's a lot of areas for improvement that I have for my episodes, so if you have any feedback, please let me know. I'd be glad to hear it. I can't really believe that we're already at episode 4, but it does seem that we're on track to make this a long-term series. And honestly, I couldn't really have done it without you guys, so once again, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a good day. Bye!